Vanchakapsuturbhishcha kripa sindhubhyev cha patinanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sarvopanishado ghavo ogdha gopalanandaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamrutam mahat. Hare Krishna. So the Sarvopanishado ghavo ogdha gopalanandaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamrutam mahat. Comes in the Gita Mahatmya. Sarvopanishado, of all the Upanishads, the Gita Upanishad, of all the Upanishads, is compared to a cow. Sarvopanishado gavo, cow. And Lord Krishna, Dogda Gopalanandanaha, who's a famous cowherd boy, is milking this cow. And Arjuna is just like a calf. Partho Vatsaha, Sudhir Bhokta. Arjuna is just like a calf, not like a small baby cow. And learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So it's a very great position of Bhagavad Gita. So today we're going to start chapter 17. So almost there, 18 chapters. Okay, very good. So we're going to start chapter 17. So in chapter 16 yesterday, as I said, Bhagavad Gita is divided into three divisions: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga in the center, Bhakti, and Jnana. 13 to 18 simply elaborates the discussion of 1 to 12. Like the second chapter is elaborated in 13th chapter, Kshetra, Kshetragya Yoga. Kshetra is the body, Kshetragya is the knower of the body, which is soul. So it was detailed there. And then the 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, about the three modes. Then 15th was Purushottama Yoga. And so then we came to the 16th chapter of Daivasura Vibhaga Yoga, in which we saw that whoever follows bona fide authoritative Shastra is considered among the followers of the divine class. And those who don't, they're Daiva and Asura. They're called Asura, or they tend to show demoniac qualities, and demoniac qualities grow in them. So this is what we saw. And then we also saw about the last three things, which is Kama, Krodha, those three gates of hell, which is Kama, and what's that? Krodha and Lobha, greed. These three, lust, anger, and greed, we should try to give up to get free from the demoniac qualities. And how to get free from that, we'll slowly see in the 18th chapter, where he's tomorrow. And then he said, so Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Vyavastito. This is the last 24th, the final shloka of. Therefore, Arjuna, one should understand what is one's duty. Karya. What is my karya and what is not my karya? Karya and akarya. Forbidden activity from Shastra. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam. And the core of all the Shastra is Bhagavad Gita. Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gobala Nandana. We saw that shloka. Knowing such rule, Jnatva, knowing. Shastra Vidhanoktam, this Vidhi, these regulations, this Vidhana, by knowing all these things, Uktam, as it is declared. Karma Kartum, one should act according to that karma, and he will be elevated for sure. You know, the purpose of life he will slowly attain over time. So now Arjuna then starts thinking, Krishna said, if I follow the Shastra, I belong to the divine class. If I don't follow, then, and follow according to my own understanding, whatever I wish to follow, have my own faith and all this, okay, then what, we will not achieve liberation. We are basically in the Asuric class, the demoniac class of people. So Arjuna was like, what? Are we then following everything in the Shastra? So what if I follow with faith? What if I follow with Shraddha, with faith, something that is not in Shastra? Because it is coming my family tradition, Kula tradition, my family accepted so and so, my father taught me this, I am doing this because my father taught me. That's all, I don't care about anything. There's all these. So what if I follow something with faith that is not in Shastra, and not done according to one's own whims, one's own ideas, one's own, whatever you want to say, thinking and concept and all this. And if I do that with Shraddha, with faith, what is the result? That is what we're going to see in today's chapter, chapter 17. Okay, next slide. So, conditioned faith, the types, the symptoms, and getting free. And also, what else we will see in this chapter is actually called the divisions of faith. Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. As I said, first of all, Arjuna's first thing is, what if I follow something which is in Shastra, which may look, traditional according to me and my family, but and is not in Shastra, so that's kind of Shraddha, faith. And then, so Krishna will slowly explain everything about food, faith, tapasya, austerity, charity, everything in 3 modes. I already told you in my previous discussion, in Shastra, for example, just this is a very raw example. We don't say vegetarian and non-vegetarian. We don't classify like that. We classify food according to everything, food or action or karma or akarya, everything according to 3 modes. Sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna. So even Shastra, there are different vibhagas in these 3 Puranas. And I will talk to you about that also. This is why we see different classes of people in society today. So even though it's not here, but it will be very interesting, and for your own understanding, it's very good. So and as I said, austerity and charity. So he's going to talk about all these. And then also at the end of the chapter, he will talk about Om Tat Sat, when to use that and how to use that. Okay, so we will look at all that in today's 17th chapter, which will be very interesting. Conditioned faith. All right. So we already know this. Those with faith in scriptures are divine. Those with no faith in scriptures, demoniac. And those who do some kind of worship, but also disregard Vedas, and this chapter focuses on that. That's a very interesting photo they've shown for that. Anyway, all right. So, ye shastra vidhimutsrijya yajante shraddhayanvitaha tesham nishtatu ka Krishna satvamaho rajasthamaha. So Krishna, so Arjuna, as I said, that question, ye shastra vidhimutsrijya. What is the situation? Shastra vidhim, the regulation of scripture. Utsrijya, not accepting, like giving up, like that. Yajante, worshipping. Shraddhayan vitaha, with faith. Shraddhaya anvita, possessed of faith. But worshipping and, okay, so tesha nishtha, they're fixed. Nishtha means like fixed in that. Nishtha to ka Krishna, sattva maho rajas tama. Are they in goodness, sattvam, rajas, or tamaha? So one does not follow the Vedas, as I've already said. What will they, basically what kind of worship are they doing? Is that authorized, is unaccepted, acceptable, and all this? So next shloka. Krishna will actually answer from 5th, but here little he's going to give a introduction to what he's going to start explaining. So he's going to say Trividha, 3. Trividha bhavati shraddha, 3 types of faith. Dehinam sa svabhavaja. This Dehinam, these people, embodied beings, human beings, Dehinam, sa svabhava, whatever they've acquired by their svabhava, vasana, impressions, imprints, svabhava, whatever the previous samskar, this is my svabhava, my nature because of my family, my tradition, this has become my svabhava, my upbringing was like this, my vasana was like this. So, is of 3 types, arising from their svabhava, previous impression, vasana. It has the nature of sattva, raja, or tama. So please, so is tamasi, tamasi cheti tamshranu. So please hear about this. So that's what he's going to start talking. That faith bound from scripture is different, faith bound without scripture is different. The next shloka, Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata. Shraddha mayoyam purusho yoya shraddha sayeva saha. This faith corresponds to the nature. According to one's existence, under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The basic concept is to make it very easy for you to understand. In English, when you're growing up, we say this: tell me who your friend is, and I will tell you who you are. Same concept. If I have friends who are associating with tamoguna, smoking, drinking too much, in a bar, my nature is also going to become like that, right? If I have friends who are always doing violence, strike, pelting stones, doing all this rowdyism, then my nature will also become like that. If I get too involved in politics, my friend is so and so, he's there, even I get inspired into that. So my faith grows in that. Similarly, if I associate with good cultured people, Shastri people, good bona fide traditional people, my faith will also become fixed in that. Same concept is just put in a shloka. Tell me who your friend is, and I'll tell you who you are. So the living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the mode he has acquired. So I am associating, I am in the sangha too much of rowdy politicians, let's just say. My nature will become like that. My mind will start thinking, oh, I also need to, I get attracted to it, and I want to accept that kind of faith. If my faith is in my nation, in this, providing food for people, or whatever it is, in violence, attacking, terrorizing, all these things. Yajante satvika devan, fourth sloka. Yaksha rakshamsi rajasaha. Pretan bhuta ganamschanye yajante tamasa janaha. Men in the mode of goodness. Yeah. Okay, people in the mode of goodness. Yajante, worship. Satvika Devan. They worship according to authorized shastras. Like if you do authorized homas and all this, you are supposed to do like yagna. And in that yagna, you are actually supposed to put ahuti and offerings to all the bona fide devatas, because they are. It's like how we have to be grateful to sun god. We have sun. Then we have to be grateful to Indra, Varuna, Chandra. They're providing earth, water, air, fire, all these things. So in a homa, that is there. Of course, there's another shloka which says if you directly worship Narayana or Krishna, it's like yata taror mula tripyati. The shloka is there that if you water the root of a tree, then all the twigs and leaves and fruits and everything parts of the tree will get nourished. Similarly, if you worship Krishna, it's like watering the root. All the devatas, everyone get nourished. But in the traditional process, in fire, homa, and yagna, you have to worship all these bona fide devatas, not fake devatas which are not in the Shastra. Those in the mode of passion, Rajasaha, Yaksha Rakshamsi, they worship Rakshasas, demons. Like Yaksha. Yaksha is actually, there a group of people, like Kubera, he belongs to Yaksha. If people I want money, they worship Kubera, problem. So that's called Rajasic worship. And those who worship in Tamoguna, Pretas, Bhutas, these evil spirits, ghosts, you would have seen, not in real maybe, but in some TV serial or some movie, they'll be wearing skull and some black dress and worshipping all these ghosts and all these kinds of things. So he's talking about the worship in these three modes. Even if you want to worship anything, Satvika means you should not worship them Deva according to your own imagination. That's what we're going to see. It has to be Yachanteshwara, bona fide according to Shastra. Okay. So describe those who have given up scripture out of laziness or because the required worship was troublesome, yet faithfully worship the demigods, devatas. In contrast, describes 15, 5, and 6. Okay, so we're going to the next one now. In contrast, describe the demoniac way of worship, which is against the Vedic practices. So we're going to see that. Ashastra vihitam ghoram. Tapyante ye tapo janaha. Dhambhankara samyuktaha kamaraga balanvitaha. Karshayanta sharirastham. Bhutagramam achetasaha. Mam chaimanta sharirastham tan vidyasura nishchayan. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances, all this tapasya and penances like fasting and all these things, they are, know that the people are demoniac nature who are filled with this show off and pride, determined to attain their desire for these sense objects, or egoism, out of egoism, they're impelled by lust and attachment. They undergo extreme austerities, contrary to the scriptures, not recommended in the scriptures, and afflict the elements in the body and me residing in the body, and torturing the material elements of the body, as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. They have no discriminating scriptural knowledge. They don't have vidhi, they don't have the shastra vidhi. So this is people are basically doing this for show off, in a way. For example, I mean, I wouldn't say exactly show off, but they're proud about it. These people, they manufacture their own modes of austerity and penance. For example, union strike. They will do some or a political strike. Even though fasting, like for example, upavasa should be done only for a certain shastric reason, like Ekadasi and all this. But persons who take to austerities which are not according to Shastra, against scriptural benediction, and not for the people's upliftment of the people in general, all this, it becomes out of pride, false ego, lust, and attachment for material enjoyment. By such activities, which not only is the combination of material attachment of which the body is constructed disturbed, but also the supreme personality of Godhead himself living within the body is also disturbed. Such unauthorized fasting or austerities for some political end are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not mentioned in the Vedic literature. A demoniac person may think he can force his enemy or other parties to comply with his desire by this method, but sometimes one dies by such fasting. Basically, doing things which are not recommended and which doesn't serve the ultimate purpose of human life. Okay, so that one is that point. So they're foolish, they torture the material body and all this. So it talks about the demoniac austerity. Even if you know Hiranyakashipu, he also did extreme austerity, tapasya, almost getting bitten by ants, his body, just because he wanted to become immortal. The story of Prahalada, Narsimha, and Hiranyakashipu was a very popular story. So as there are three different faiths, so people have accept food in three different modes also. See, to understand importance of food is very, very important. That is the first thing. Everything begins with our tongue, speech, how we speak to. In my office, I used to tell, I was in a very, very senior management position. I used to tell everyone, just by your speech, your promotion or degradation, is sometimes decided also. So you should talk in a very honest, you should be sincere speech, but at the same honest, and if you talk rash, you are basically messing up your own, life that way. So, ahara stopi sarvasya. Ahara is very important. In Chandogya Upanishad, it comes. Ahara shuddhau, sattva shuddhi. Sattva shuddhau, dhruva smriti. Dhruva smriti, smriti labhyate. Ahara shuddhau. If ahara shuddha, we will see about that. Ahara shuddha, sattva shuddhi, your surroundings will become shuddha. Wait, don't go back. Yeah, okay, so, that's fine. So if your food is, your surroundings become sattva, and by that process, basically we eat Krishna prasadam. Your surroundings, where you are, will become very clean. You have internal cleanliness, sattva shuddhi, dhruva smriti. You get attracted, and the finer tissues of the brain will actually become clean, or whatever. The shastra, your finer tissues of the brain improves, and so you can actually understand all the subject matter. Understanding Shastra is not like studying 10th standard board exam or 12th exam or CET or some engineering. This requires much more application of the brain and mind, because as you know, Sanskrita itself is a very, very difficult language, not like English. and there's sandhi, vibhakti, this, that's all basics, and there's so much more to it. So, and then you understand Shastra. So we should be very grateful that we actually have Bhagavad Gita now in English, and we can follow bhakti even without knowing the depth of Sanskrit and all this. So ahara, first ahara is so important for that. Just by ahara, slowly this Bhagavad Gita matter will get digested. Sometimes people ask me, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, it's not going to my head at all. Why? Because you start having Shuddha Ahara over time, slowly the brain will improve and will understand. So even the food is of three kinds. The same is also for the austerities, the sacrifice. We will also see Trivido Bhavati Pre Yagna, Tapa, Dhana. Also, Krishna is going to define in all the Sattva, Rajoguna in the most of this chapter now. One can make out a person's mode of faith by seeing his activities of eating, sacrifice. Okay, next slide. Okay, go ahead. So food in the mode of goodness. Ayu sattva balarogya sukha pripti vivardhanaha rasyaha snigdaha stira hridya ahara satvika priyaha. So I think there's a table next also, but we'll quickly learn the translation. Food, oh, okay. So that's good. So we'll keep going. Okay, in the 88th one, food in the mode of goodness is juicy. Juicy means rasyaha. Then snigdaha, fatty. Fatty doesn't mean you put 10 cups of butter. Fatty means gives you good, good ghee, good fat. If you actually have Indian cow ghee, it's fatty, but at the same time very nourishing and good for health like that. Stiraha, enduring. Hridyaha, pleasing to the heart. Aharaha, food. Satvika is palatable. So if we have such food, then what happens? Ayu sattva bhalarogya. It increases the duration of life and purifies one's existence. Okay, so Ayu Sattva. Then what else happens? Bala. Bala means what? Strength. Also gives strength. Strength means not physical strength. Oh, I have so much muscles, I go to a gym. No, mental strength, spiritual strength. In Balarama, Bala actually means spiritual strength. He gives the weakness of the heart. Remember, we discussed yesterday. It gives strength to the heart, emotional strength, the strength to face any situation in life and practice whatever, in Shastra. Happiness. It gives you a sense of happiness. Your digestion is good. It gives you happiness. And tushti pushti, satisfaction also. That is the greatness of food in the mode of goodness. Of course, Krishna is only giving little here. You can't give a whole list. To see the whole list of all this, we have to go into some Dharma Shastra and all this. So then what is food in the mode of passion? No need to go back, but I'll just read the verse. Katu, Amla, Lavanati, Ushna, Tikshna, Ruksha, Vidahinaha, Ahara, Rajasasyeshta, Dukka Shoka, Maya Pradaha. So in this verse, we are going to see too bitter. He's not saying little bitter. The tongue, the body actually needs Shad Ahara. Bitter, sweet, salty, pungent, astringent, sweet. Did I say sweet? Yeah, sweet, bitter, sour, salty, pungent, astringent. 6 tastes the body needs. It all has to be balanced. But anything excessively hot, excessively bitter, excessively salty, pungent, dry, and burning, this is food in the mode of Rajoguna. So what happens to such things? People, distress refers to pain felt while eating such foods. It gives misery, disease, sorrow, and leads to some kind of disease. Yeah. So actually, I already mentioned the Shadrasa in English. Yeah. So thank you. So actually, even according to Ayurveda, if your Agni, your stomach, your digestion, your food intake is healthy, you have no diseases. They will actually, that's why I recommend a lot of moong dal, khichdi, moong dal and rice, because they are all very good for the stomach. The whole concept of Ayurvedic Shastra is if you eat disturbing foods, then it creates something called toxins. Those toxins go and, let's say, take rest in your elbow here. over time it keeps, or in your kidney. It keeps, for example, coffee. Let's just take coffee. Excessive coffee over time creates kidney failures. Whoever has had a lot of kidney failure, you see, has had excessive coffee and tea. And even a doctor at the age of life, if you have lower organ problems, prostate or kidney or hysterectomy, they'll say don't drink coffee because it actually affects the lower organs. And that's why we don't drink coffee. Is not a sattvic food. It came from the Western world, coffee and tea. Onion, same thing. Onion also rajasic food. It's a practical, you eat that. And even sattva guna food, you can actually, it's very practical. If you eat rajoguna food, even while you evacuate, it stinks. In my office in the US, especially in this country, many people get attracted to all these Western ladies because golden hair and white body and all this. I once went and complained to the person who takes care. He's called the janitor. He takes care of the maintenance and cleaning. I told him the men's toilet really stinks. I mean, after eating meat and all these things, what else? The toilet will stink, right? The white body, that they look clean on the outside. I told him it's so nasty. I can't even go for, the small nature call there. Just feel like vomiting, I told him. He said, really? I've been getting a lot of complaints about the women's bathroom, which is extremely bad. So imagine this. So the body reacts to everything. So, but if you eat sattva guna food, you actually see the difference. And all that leads to disease, kidney failure, this failure. So, and as you know, one more quick point. When I was born, you know how many vaccines were there? About maybe 6 or 7 at most. Now, my son was born, I see that vaccine chart, there's some 50 vaccines. That means how many viruses, how many diseases, how many things have grown in like 20 years or so. So, and how many hospitals and more diseases, etc. Because our food intake itself is so bad. Whereas previous, they had longer life, Ayu Sattva, Bhalarogya, right? 110 years, 105 years, no problem. So anyway, and food in the mode of ignorance. Yata Yama. Food prepare more than, so whenever you cook, let's just say if it is not at all offered to the Supreme Lord, if it is offered, it is spiritualized food, no problem. If it is not offered, it has to be eaten freshly within 3 hours. If not, it becomes ignorance food. Let's say you cook even rice and rasam, and you're not offering to Narayana or Sita Rama or Lakshmi Narayana, Radha Krishna, you're not offering. After 3 hours, that also becomes ignorance food. Usually it's a trend that I will cook tonight, I'll put it in the fridge, tomorrow morning I'll take it to office. Now that is also, that creates, actually, you know what it creates in the body? Vata. It creates Vayu problem. Vayu is the main cause of diseases, starts from there. So all this Yata Yamam, it's called ignorance, so that becomes more food in the mode of ignorance. Except prasadam offered to the Lord. Whereas when it's offered to the Lord, Krishna through his eyes, just by seeing it, he spiritualizes that food. Krishna does not, some people say, I kept the food in front of the deity, Tirupati Balaji, where is it? And the Laddu, it is still there like that. Because Krishna is not like us. He doesn't have to eat through mouth, ear through ear. Angani yasya sakalendriya, it says in Shastra. He's one anga, or every indriya can do another indriya's function. He can see through his nose. He can eat through his eyes. He can listen through his ears. He can talk. He can do anything from any sense. Like he's a Supreme Lord. His body is spiritual. So in front of the deity, when we keep, he sees it and accepts it. Basically, he's accepting our love. He's accepting that we are grateful to him, that we are, showing that gratefulness to him and gratitude. So he blesses it with his eyes. And we're eating that. That is always spiritualized food. That creates a spiritual effect on our chitta, consciousness. Food that is tasteless, decomposed, spoiled, consisting of remnants and untouchable things, except that, of course, the remnants of Supreme Lord and great saintly persons are all considered spiritual. Otherwise, remnants increase infections or disease. Okay, so he has described about food in 3 modes. Let's go next. So we already saw the remnants of food, maybe, go back, remnants of food, maybe. First offered to the Supreme Lord, or eaten by saintly persons, especially their spiritual master, the Guru. The Vaishnava or devotees do not eat any food not offered to the Supreme Lord, even if it is food in goodness. We also saw this in third chapter. Annad Bhavanti Bhutani Yagna Shistashina Santo Muchante Sarvakil Bishaihi Pachamanyam. We saw there also that even in the older traditions, when you do fire yagna, you have to offer in the fire yagna also, and then they do naivedya and all this, and then it's served out. Even Purnahuti, why I told you this before. Why do you think they throw some sari in the thing? It's actually the fire is the tongue of Vishnu, so he accepts it. Okay, go next. Juicy increases the duration of life, one's existence. Great. So juicy fruits, mango, grapes, all these things, and traditional things. In Jagannath Puri, actually, they use only local vegetables. They don't even use all these tomato, and they all consider that Western vegetables. Puri, Orissa, Jagannath Puri. Okay, next. Then we also saw this very bitter, all nasty food items that they've shown here. Actually, once I was driving in Akipet, and then suddenly I just turned left. I had to buy some ghee or something there. I turned left and I saw a whole, something looked very pink and like meat. I found it disgusting. Then I turned again and saw it was actually a big plate of onion. And suddenly it looked like meat. But anyway, so let's move ahead. Food prep. They have some very interesting photos here. I haven't seen some of these. Spoiled food and spoiled bread. This Western bread also increases vata in the body. So we should, that's why we don't use bread. We use chapati or, like that. Our bread is chapati and all that. Okay, next. Okay, now let's see sacrifice in the three modes. Yagna in the three modes. Aphala kankshibir yagno vidhi dishto ya ijjate yashtavyam eveti manaha samadhaya sasatvikaha. Is there a table for this also in next slide? Or okay, good. So we can just see this. Yeah, okay. Say 11. Okay. So according to direction of scripture, sacrifices are performed according to aphala. What is aphala? Phala means I want phala. Aphala means kangshibi, without the desire for material fruit. So I perform these sacrifices according to the direction of scripture as a matter of my dharma, my duty, based on the varna and ashrama I am in. And even though some are there for all varnas and ashrama, for example, namakarana samskara, and what all those samskaras in jatakarma samskara, chaula, and all these upanayana is there for the first three classes of people, and all these things. These are just general samskaras. Yeah, for bhakti, bhakti is the highest samskara. So Hare Krishna mantra bhakti will take, Krishna will say in the next chapter, bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only through bhakti you'll get to know me. So all this is there just to keep a tradition and organization in society, or else we will be very unorganized. Okay, next. 12. Abhisandhaya to phalam dambhartha api chaivayat. In this one, I want desire the phala, but the sacrifice performed for some material fruit, for the sake of damba, pride. You should know to be in the mode of passion. Bharata Shrestha, Arjuna, chief of the Bharata dynasty, you should know to be in Rajasic. Okay, and then in 13th one, Viddihinam Asrishtanam. Any sacrifice performed without regard for Vidhi, Hina, without regard for the rules and regulations, Shastra, basically, without distribution of prasadam, without chanting of mantras, and adakshina, without giving any dakshina to the bona fide priest, without chanting of Vedic mantras and remaining adakshina, and without faith, ashraddha, shraddha virahitam, no shraddha at all, and without is considered to be in mode of ignorance. Okay, so that is sacrifice in three modes. Okay, go on. So according to direction of scripture, as we go to temple, church, and not for economic benefit. Yeah, we don't go to temple or for business. You do this, I will do this. You give me a job, I will shave my head. You give me a job, I will break 5 coconuts. No, you should always go to temple for our purpose of life. Duty of every civilized man to obey scriptural. Okay, desire no material reward. All right, next. Then we saw this also doing for material benefit, for elevation to heavenly kingdom or some other material benefits and for the sake of pride. I basically want to enjoy. Okay. In the mode of ignorance, without scriptural directions, doing whatever I want, without distribution of prasadam, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remuneration to the priest. No adakshina basically, no giving dakshina. Without faith and ignorance is faithless. Okay. They're doing all for a ceremonial show of religiosity. Okay, next. Doing something very grand, simply unnecessarily. Now we're going to see some very important concepts. Austerity of three kinds of austerity of body, speech, and mind. Okay, Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Austerity of the body consists of worship of the Lord. Dvija, the Brahmana. Guru, the bona fide Guru who comes in the traditional authorized parampara. And superiors, Pujanam, Shaucham, and Prajna, all the superior worshipable personalities. You know, whoever is considered worshipable either in the family or, you know, in the devotees among the family or the gurus, other people in the matha or whatever, you know, senior people there. Pujanam, worship, Shaucham, cleanliness. Arjavam, straightforwardness, simplicity. Arjavam means whatever I say is in alignment with my mind and thought. It's not like I think something else, speak something else. No. Simplicity. This is the translation Srila Prabhupada uses. What is the meaning of simplicity? Simplicity means no duplicity. Duplicity means I think something else, say something else. That is basically the meaning of duplicity. Playing double game, you know, I'm duplicitous. Simplicity means that is not there. My mind, my thought, my actions and words are all aligned. So, and consistent. Brahmacharyam. Brahmacharya means not acting like animals, basically. We unite with the wife or the spouse only for like producing good children. Dvija means Brahmana, twice born. Brahmana, because traditional Brahmana is one takes birth from the mother and father. The second birth is given by the guru in the Upanayana Samskara. So that is Dvija. Brahmacharyam. So the person should, whole world cannot be brahmachari, right? Then how can the population continue? But not like animals, basically. We humans cannot, like a dog, every day have a mating season and every day, you know, mate. No, brahmacharya means as whatever is required for good population and all this. Ahimsa, unnecessarily hurting others. That doesn't mean Kshatriya should not have ahimsa. Kshatriya, to protect his kingdom, his Kshatriya's duty is to protect his citizens. And if they're attacked by demons, there is always going to be demons. He has to fight. Unnecessary torture, torturing of others. Shariram, pertaining to the body, all this cleanliness and all this. And tapa, austerity. Shariram tapa uchyate. This for this body, austerity of the body, tapa uchyate. And this is considered the tapasya for body. For speech, let's see quickly. Anudvega karam vakyam. Anudvega. Speech, as I said, very important, right? Austerity of speech means the anudvega karam. We should not speak in a way to poke others, provoking others. It should not be harsh. Vakyam satyam priyahitam. You should speak the truth, but in a way that it's not harsh. Unfortunately, some people can be excessively sensitive that as much as you try to hurt them. But we should be straightforward, clean in our speech, without harsh usage of words, and it does not cause fear in anyone. Anudvega karam. It should not, if I speak to you, it should be pleasing to you such a way it should not cause fear to you. Nowadays, especially, people want to instill fear in someone, so this is kind of good speech. It's based on authoritative sources. Satyam. Satyam, that does not mean I have my own version of truth. Next door fellow, he has his own version of truth. So I know authoritative sources, especially Shastra. As I told you yesterday, I can have my own good and bad. He can have his own good and bad. Behind fellow can have his own good and bad. No, that doesn't work that way. It is pleasing, priya, to hear. Ultimately beneficial, hitam. Even Shukadeva, Suta Goswami, he tells, whatever questions your Munaya Sadhu Prishtoham Bhavadbir Lokamangalam, Lokahitam, it should be beneficial, not simply waste of time. What is this actor doing? What is this sports star doing in his life? Let's see, no, it should be of great thing. Speech with these four qualities, and well as recitation, abhyasanam of the Vedas, Svadhyaya, Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, all these things, is the austerity to be achieved by speech. It is something we should achieve in our speech. That comes with purification by chanting Hare Krishna. The more we chant good things, slowly our mouth becomes purified to speak clean things. And we'll have the stability to face any provocation and all these things. Srila Prabhupada, actually, if you see his life, so many people try to provoke him purposely just to see how he'll react. But his mind was so strong, he did not react for anything. He was so sober. He was so stable. Whoever tried to attack him anywhere, any part of the world, he never overreacted. His speech was also very pleasing. You can see all his interviews, very clean. Austerity of the mind. Now we're going to mana. Austerity of the mind consists of what? Saumyatvam. Saumyatvam means gentleness, purity, gentleness. Manaprasada saumyatvam, maunam atma vinigrihaha. Contemplation of the Atma. We try to contemplate on the Atma, both Jivatma and Paramatma. The mind should withdraw from sense objects. Bhava samshuddhirityetat tapo manasam uchyate. He should be free from deceit in dealing with others. Bhava samshuddhihi, pure in disposition to others. When I have a transaction with you and I want to talk to you now, I should be free of deceit. I should not want you to, I'm not trying to convert you, no, free of deceit. If you do, it's for your benefit. And this is what Krishna is saying, free of deceit. These are the austerities to be achieved by the mind. Free of deceit means free of cheating tendency, cheating propensity. I am not asking you to chant any man's name, not asking you to chant my name, not asking you to come to my mata. I am asking you to take Krishna's name, Narayana's name, Sita Rama's name, Vishnu Sahasranama, all these. Okay. So, austerity of the mind. Okay, next one. Oh, they've done all this. Okay. Worship of the Supreme Lord, Brahma Dvija, spiritual master, superiors, as I said, father, mother, and senior persons in, practicing this process, acharyas and all these things, cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy and non-violence, celibacy, brahmacharya and ahimsa. Austerity of speech, speaking truthful words. Process of speaking is to say something upheld by scripture, shastra. It's pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others. It should not provoke others, cause fear in others. Teacher can correct his students even if it is agitating, but not others who are not his students. Of course, a guru and a shishya relationship has to be a little different. Guru has to chastise, but at a certain age, Chanakya Pandit says, from 5 to 15, the boy should be shown stick he should be shown. Only then at that 15, and that too not by the father, it should be shown by guru. Then the teenage age will go very clean. But the problem is at home, that's why the teenage age is very difficult nowadays. Because that Gurukula tradition is gone. That guru would make the student clean the cows, show stick. Chanakya says 5 to 15. Then after 15, when he finishes his Gurukula studying, the father should be a friend with him. Because that time anyway, the child will be very well behaved. Also regularly reciting Vedic scriptures, gravity in thought, austerity of mind, satisfaction, simplicity, self-control, purification of one's existence. All right, next. We saw austerity in 3 modes. Done with faith, not expecting material benefit. Okay. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividham naraihi. When these 3 types of austerity are undertaken with full faith, without longing for results and with concentrated mind, they are said to be sattvic. So they are done with transcendental faith, not expecting any material benefits, and only for the sake of Supreme. This is text 17. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastat trividham naraihi. These threefold austerities. Tapastat. What is the threefold? Body, speech, and mind, which we just saw. If whatever we saw now, it is done then with good faith, not expecting any material result, fruit. Only for the sake of pleasing the Supreme, then that threefold body, speech, and mind, which we just saw, then it is sattvic. But if it is done for what? It is done out of pride, whatever we discussed, goodness of speech, the body, whatever we discussed in the last few shlokas. If those are done out of pride, for the sake of, I want respect. If I do this, people will respect me. People will honor me. People will worship me. They'll keep my photo everywhere and put, they'll have a following, desire to be worshipped, desire to get many followers. Then that is, that is Rajasic. Sometimes his penance and austerity are executed to, like, see the Hiranyakashipu photos there. He's doing the tapasya, whatever his body was, and Brahma approves his tapasya and gives him benediction and all that, just to attract followers and worship and all this. Okay. Muda ghranen atmano yat. Penance performed out of foolishness. If they do that out of foolishness, with self-torture to destroy or injure others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Okay. So we'll go to the next one. Now we're going to see charity, dana, in the three modes. Charity performed with conviction. Which one? 20. So 20 here is datavyam iti yad dhanam diyate nupakarine. Anupakarine means irrespective of return. I don't want return. Deshe kale, deshe place, kale time, chapatre cha, to a suitable person. Tad danam sattvikam smritam. Such charity is said to be in mode of goodness. Charity given out of duty, without expectation of return at the proper time and place, to a worthy person. We should always remember this, to a worthy person. So there's actually a reference in Garuda Purana. It should be given to a person who can actually uplift us, who can protect the donor, if the dakshina giver, by learning and austerity. Such a person can accept dakshina. Okay, so this is in sattvic charity. Okay, so let's see in passion. Passion means immediately I want return. But charity performed with some expectation of return. Yettu pratyupakarartham karartham. Upakara artham. I want for the upakara return. Artham. I want some artha. So if I do that, then, or with a desire for fruitive results, phalamudishya, the material fruit as usual. Va punaha. Again, I want that also. And anvil diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasam smritam. Or I give it in a very unwilling mood. Diyache pariklishtam. Pariklishtam means, we call breast pocket here next to the heart. It's we don't feel it. It's very dear to our heart. Giving like that, money I have to give, is it? So rajasam. Then charity in ignorance. Adesha. Adesha means not in the right place. Kale, not at the right time. Yaddanam. Apatrebhyascha diyate asat-kritam avijñatam tattamasam udahritam. Giving at an impure place. You can't give in a toilet. Can you give? So impure place at an improper time, to unworthy persons, or without proper attention and respect, is said to be in mode of ignorance. That is mode of ignorance. So that's why actually Srila Prabhupada, he also arranged, simply don't give money to beggars and all. He actually arranged giving Krishna Prasadam to everyone as much as possible. Even our local Kumar Swami Layout temple during the lockdown period, pandemic, they arranged Krishna Prasadam food packets and they distributed to so many people, and fed them and all that. So we should, and we can give clothes and all this to for their uplifting. Okay. The Lord says, okay, next one. Now, still this mentality in one, sacrifice and charity to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Om Tat Sat. So now we're actually going to see the Lord now says that sacrifice, austerity, and charity by persons qualified with sattva should be performed along with the uttering of the names of Vishnu. Om Tat Sat. Om, Auma actually represents Vishnu. We have a whole book on that actually. It's called Siddhanta Darpana. How Om, Uma, the whole thing represents Shastra and Vishnu. Indicates the supreme goal, detached Tat. So we're going to see that. Actually, if you see in any yagna and all this, in the first itself, they'll say Om Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayaha. They will use that. So all this will come. And then Samna Hari Om Tat Sat. You have to conclude like that. So in bona fide things, we will use this Om Tat Sat. Detached work for the sake of liberation. Tat. Tat we will say it also comes, you are that. Tatvamasi. Oh Lord, you are the Brahman. You are the Supreme Lord. You are that. Oh Spirit Soul, you are also Spirit. Your quality is Spirit, but you are not God. Sat. Activities done for service of Lord reveal true spiritual nature and benefits are eternal. So we'll see those last 3-4 shlokas and this chapter will conclude. So from the, okay, giving out of, okay, we already saw this, giving out of duty without expectation of return, at proper time and place, to a worthy person. We already saw this. You'll be given to a worthy person at a proper place and time, and given out of duty without expectation of phala. Next. Charity in passion. Any passion always means I want to enjoy the result, the material fruit. Usually people who do Jyotishtama Yagna, they want to go to Swargaloka and enjoy. I've spoken about that also. People here just go to some Australia, Europe, London, 2 weeks and enjoy. But Heavenly Kingdom is hundreds, thousands of years you can enjoy there without disease and all this. And grudging mood, without wanting to remove from pocket and give any money to them for good thing. Charity in ignorance and impure place, impure time, unworthy person and all that without proper attention and respect. Okay, next. Getting free from defects in one, sacrifice, austerity and charity. All right. Om Tat Sat. These 3 words indicate the supreme absolute truth, Vishnu, and are chanted by Brahmanas during sacrifices for the satisfaction of Supreme. Okay, we spoke about that also. Next. Om is always chanted in the beginning by those who perform yagna, tapas, dana, and tapasya and austerity in accordance with the scriptural regulations to attain the Supreme. Om, any you've seen Om Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, Om Keshvaya Namaha, Narayana. It starts with Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavatam starts. Tat is uttered by persons aspiring for liberation from material entanglement. Perform sacrifice, yagna, austerity and charity without desiring fruitive results. The word tat is very powerful because it produces a desire for liberation by uttering it with absence of material desire. Sat. Sat is used to indicate the absolute truth. Sadbhave. Satsanga. I'm going for satsang. What is it? Satsang. Spiritual sangha. Sat. Asat. Sat means asatoma satgamaya. Take me from asat to sat. Tamasoma jyotir gamaya. Take me from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. Like Bhagavad Gita. Mrityoma amritam gamaya. So that means we will attain amrita. The spirit soul will go back with the body will not have any more mrityu. So sat is used to indicate the absolute truth. That's why we say satsanga. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido. That also comes with sat. That means satam prasangan. We discuss mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayana katha. This Krishna Katha, Hari Katha should be discussed among these Sat people. If we discuss with them, what happens? Our development, we will advance, we will progress more on in this subject. So all auspicious works of sacrifice, austerity, and charity are performed to please the Supreme Person. Any work dedicated to the Lord is permanent and is called Sat. That's why we call it Sat Sangha. Okay. So next one. Basic characteristic of religion in the mode of goodness. Motivation for purification. Purification from what? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. All these things are dirty in our heart. So we want to cleanse ourselves. Sense of duty. We have to do our own dharma and duty, like a husband, father, son, daughter, wife, and all this. And we have to do this as much as possible with the desire to please the Lord. One can instill this mentality in one, sacrifice, austerity, and charity by including in them the mantra Om Tat Sat, reminding oneself that the goal of the religious activity is to satisfy Krishna. Or the alternative is, we are not doing fire homa every day or some major pujas. Alternative, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That also has everything in it. Om Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkar, that also starts with Om in it. All right, next slide. Activities done without faith in the Supreme are simply with the realm of the modes of nature and are temporary, therefore they are useless. One in guidance of a bona fide guru is eligible to transcend the modes altogether by taking directly to pure devotional service. One should give up his inborn conceptions of religion influenced by the modes of nature and develop faith in Shastra. This is the last shloka. Remember, the shloka is basically is Tasmat everything, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam. If you don't accept that, whoever you're worshipping, simply saying because my father taught me and is ashastriya, is not according to Shastra, Ashraddha, work done, it is simply asat. It is of no use. It is only going to degrade you further, more and more. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and next life, pretya after death, and iha in this life. So one should give that up and try as much as possible to follow bona fide Bhagavad Gita and this point. So the whole chapter he has only discussed about, beginning with what happens if I cannot follow Shastra and I'm just accepting something because my family taught me, this taught me, that taught me, and I had that upbringing. And then he started saying faith is in three modes according to who you associate with. Tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. And you have developed that. But then that is a mode of ignorance, mode of goodness. Mode of goodness, what is? Sattva Guna. So saying that, I just want to add an extra point. We have 1 minute here. Shastras are also defined in three modes, especially the Puranas. Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana, all this comes in mode of ignorance, goodness, Bhagavata Purana and all these things, Padma Purana. Then there is more in mode of passion, mode of ignorance. There are Puranas there. For example, Shiva Purana comes in for dedicate. It is for, not that the Purana is in the Tamasic itself, no, the Purana is meant for people who are in Tamoguna. So that's why sometimes you'll see someone is saying, Bhagavata Purana only talks about Krishna, Shiva Purana only talks about Shiva, Brahma Purana talks only about Brahma, Brahma Vaivarta Purana only talks about this, Skanda Purana only talks about Skanda. No, but Skanda Purana, Shiva Purana, they're meant for people in mode of ignorance so that they will elevate to the mode of Rajoguna. Like, for example, many people do Lalita Sahasranama. Okay, Lalita Sahasranama comes in Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Brahma Vaivarta Purana is known as a Purana for Rajasic people. So that's why they're in that Lalita Sahasranama. Bhagavata Purana is a Purana which is the highest Sattva Guna level. That is why it has no motive. It has nothing. I'm talking only about Puranas for now. It has no desire to put you down. It is only at the topmost level. That is Bhagavata Purana. So sometimes you may go out and say, I've taken a Bhagavad Gita course, I'm reading Bhagavata Purana, then they'll start telling you and confuse you. Oh, Shiva Purana is about Shiva, I'm following Shiva. You'll think, oh, great, okay. No, but that is meant for people. Because, Shiva, he's so compassionate that he's always carrying with him bhutas, pretas, pishachas, and walking around in his bull. For that, we have to learn the whole Daksha Sati story, and we will understand that. So there are Puranas meant for different modes. It is to elevate one at a time. Every Shastras itself try to elevate you to the topmost level. So you may take a lower Shastra or a higher. Shastras are never lower or higher. Shastra meant for lower people or Shastra meant for higher people. So we should see how things are organized and understand it as a whole. Then we will understand. So that's why Tasmat Shastram Pramanam. They work according to Shastra. Karya Karya Vevasito. So this conclusion, tomorrow you're going to go into the 18th chapter. In 18th chapter, you're going to discuss Bhakti is the only upaya. He's going to say, of course, Krishna is going to get fed up with Arjuna's questions. Enough. 18 chapters I've spoken to you. Now we have to start the fight. Enough of this question. Give up all these dharmas and just do what I say. Sarva dharman parityaja. Do what I say. I will take care of you. Enough of your questions. You can't have 18 days of question answer session only, right? So he says sarva dharma. But after that also, after the battle, it's not like Arjuna was doing only sarva dharma. Arjuna followed his duties and set an example. He was a great devotee and he set an example. And he did his dharma of good husband, good father, and good prince and good brother to Yudhishthira and all that. And tomorrow we will learn Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Bhakti is the only way. And what is that Bhakti? Everything we will slowly conclude in the 18th chapter. Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto Mad. All these points will come. With Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanuttaraya. Concluding with that verse in the 18th chapter. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. And Prabhuji, we have tomorrow is the last class, and day after tomorrow we have a question answer session.
Okay.
So that's 7 to 9. So whatever the question from related to Bhagavad Gita or related to life, so they can ask. So 7 to 9.
Okay.
And also I will share tomorrow feedback form. They can ask their questions also there, or they can give the feedback how to improve or what they realized. So they will do. So I'm unmuting the devotees now. So devotee can ask their doubts, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In the beginning of the slide, I don't remember the complete sentence. There was a sentence saying that yet they are faithful to the demigods and they follow the demigod sampradaya. They dedicate themselves to that particular demigod who they believe. So what happens to such kind of living entity who doesn't know anything about Krishna, yet they pray to like any demigod and they submit themselves to the demigod? What it is called and what happens to such living entity?
So that is a lower form of worship. As I already said, see the Shastra, for example, one who worships Shiva according to Shiva Purana or some other, Skanda Purana, they worship Skanda, Muruga and all this, Kartikeya. If they worship traditionally and in a bona fide way, they will slowly graduate to the next level. It is only going to take a very slow process. It is so if you do, let's say, Skanda Purana, Skanda Purana, you come little high. So next life you will get a chance to come to more on a Rajasic platform. And there you might do some Brahma Vaivarta Purana or Brahma Purana or this Purana, that Purana. And then it's a process of first standard, second standard, third standard, fourth standard. And what the Shiva Purana and even all these other Puranas do is, even after all those pujas you do, finally you have to say Kayena Vacha Manasendreva Narayanam Samarpayam. Narayanaya Samarpayami. You have to offer it to Narayana. Whatever you do. So that never shloka will come. But that's why he's saying, what if I worship a even a Devata in according to non-Shastra, according to my own traditional belief? Then Krishna is saying that is not good. You have to, even if you do the Deva worship, do according to Shastra. Or else it becomes in Tamoguna or in degradation.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
It might, I mean, this is a thought that came from some movies and all these things,
Yeah.
old movies. So it's like Indra usually will be surrounded with a lot of women.
Yeah,
And also he will be drinking the surapana and all these things. Yet Krishna has given certain duties or some other demigods under the control of Indra. Why is that they set an example, something like that? I mean, is it it's against to what we actually are studying, isn't it?
yeah, but that's why he's also in the material world. We are saying from here, don't go up to the Swargaloka. That's why people desire Swargaloka, na? They want to enjoy. See, that's why I told you, people from here go to America. I studied in university. Now you should see all these Indians there. They'll come off, they go, these students, they think I'm free from India now, free from parents. First thing they want to do is break all the principles which their parents taught. They want to go to a club. They will try to dance with all these white girls, and these white girls will find them disgusting people. They'll just ignore them. So there's all these things happen. So same thing, who desire to go to Swargaloka. I want to go there and enjoy. He's created that for. So Swargaloka, Indraloka is like a kind of America or London or Amsterdam or whatever you want to call it in the whole material universe itself. So it is not a place of permanent happiness. It is also a place of enjoying. But at the same time, even presidents in the US, even though they have the presidential position, they have also been caught, unfortunately, in controversies and all that, right? They enjoy. So Indra has a position he enjoys, and he also pays the price for it. So it is the whole material world is a place of suffering, and there also you have to, your punya karma, you finish, you come back. The whole material universe itself is like a prison. But someone has to run the administration. So he's given it, you will enjoy and you run the administration.
Okay, meaning that Swarga is also on this particular earth.
Yeah. It is in this it's not on this universe. Yeah. We pray, Om Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha. We pray, Om Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Svaha, Swarga, Tapaha, Janaha, Om Satyam, Brahmaloka. We do pranayama like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is here. There also you have birth and death. There also you have Punarapi Jananam, the whole. Yeah. So we are saying finish Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Mananam. So that is like America in the material universe, you can say.
Understood. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, you are not audible. Shiva Kumar Prabhu, you are not audible. Can you speak again? Still it is not audible.
Type it. Maybe the mic is on mute.
The mic is on, but voice is
No,
not.
there, like this mic sound, there to press mute or something. Okay, anyone else then? Question?
Any other question?
Can I have one question, small question?
Sure, you can have two also.
The thing is, whenever you hear any lecture, you do your duties according to Shastras.
Yeah.
Everybody must be hearing this.
Yeah.
So where we can get the juice of Shastra, from which books?
Where we can get
Upanishads or
juice?
Puranas?
No, where we can get?
Juice of the Shastras.
Bhagavad Gita. I spoke in the first itself. Sarva Upanishada Gavo, Dogda Gopalanandana. The milk is the Krishna's milking into Bhagavad Gita. This is more than enough.
So there is no specifically no other book.
No, there is a lot of books, but we don't have time to
All
read.
these scriptures are the Shastras.
No. What is scriptures? Vedecha, Ramayana, Chaiva, Purana, Mahabharatam. These are the main scriptures. And Veda means the 4 Vedas, Upanishad. Within every Veda, there's Aranyaka, Brahmana, Upanishad, all this. But half of them have been lost. Unfortunately, during the Mughal era, they burnt off most of these things. 90% is gone. So we have Bhagavad Gita still left, Bhagavatam still left. These 2 books are more than enough. Even Shankaracharya said, no, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Eko Mantra Tasya Namani Yani. So Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Seva to Lord. This one Bhagavad Gita is enough. Bhagavatam is enough. You can get, if you can't even read all that, I don't have in front of me here.
No,
We have,
what I am trying to ask you is to common people or devotees, how to get the knowledge of Shastra, though it is there in the Gita. How do we understand that word by word, or which Shastra can be used for where?
I think I'm understanding your question the same. In Bhagavad Gita, if you open our Bhagavad Gita, we have word by word, the Samskrita, we have word by word English, we have this in all languages. And you can understand that if you want more depth, depends. See, we should have the time for it and the mental capacity for it also. So for us, the best thing is actually leave. Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvataha. Just by learning about Krishna's janma and activities, we punarjanma na vidyate. So we actually have one in ISKCON, we have one Krishna book, it's called. If you read that, you learn about Krishna, you learn about Shastra, it covers everything, and it's just 90 chapters. That one book is more than, that one book will just give you all moksha you want. Prema, Bhakti,
What name is? Just
Krishna book we call.
Okay.
Akshay Prabhu can send you the details if you're interested. Krishna book.
Okay, fine. That is
90
fine.
chapters, summary of the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. You get in Tamil, English, Kannada, whatever you want.
English and Sanskrit together will be something. Okay, it's a nice thing.
It's a 10th canto of Bhagavatam. That all this Gopi, Gita, everything comes.
Though I got a Bhagavatam book of first canto. Then afterwards, in the ISKCON, I was not getting the entire thing because they give only a set.
Yeah, you buy Krishna book. You read everything is Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, but every day do Krishna book one page. Okay. You see after 6 months, you see the difference in your life. Just reading that one book. Krishna stories.
Bhagavatam first canto I read 2 or 3 times.
Very good. That's also great.
But even though
he's showing you Krishna book. He's showing you in European website, but we have an Indian website also.
Okay, fine. Yes.
We have at the temple. If you come, Kumar Samilya.
ISKCON Juhu, I can get it. No problem.
Oh, you're in Bombay, yeah? You get in Kumar Samilya.
Pardon?
No, if you're in Bombay, you can go to Juhu and get. If you're in Bangalore.
Or Chowpatty, I can go in.
Yeah, you can get there.
Okay, nice of you.
Okay. Pramila Mataji. Hey. Pramila Mataji.
One second, Swami.
Anyone else?
No, 1 second. I am unable to unmute.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear?
Yeah.
My question is that Krishna book available online, Swamiji?
Yeah, it's available online also. It's available on Amazon.in also. KRSNA R.3. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Maybe Akshay Prabhu, you are on the WhatsApp group. Akshay Prabhu can message.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, I am in the WhatsApp group, Swamiji.
Okay. Yes, Mataji, we can send you. If you need, you can send you.
If you tell us, we will also post it to you.
Yes,
right,
yes.
Akshay Prabhu, we can post, we can send you and post.
Yes.
So Pramila Mataji is interested, Akshay Prabhu. Will take it.
In my WhatsApp group, can I message my address, Swamiji?
Mataji, you can send me personally, or you can send there, so that I can send you. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. We'll make online payment, so you can courier it.
Yeah, you
Yes,
just
sir.
said, please send Krishna book to my name and address and phone number, and then they'll send. And then you can do the Google
we'll
payout.
do
You pay
that.
for the
I'll do
course
that.
same way.
Yes.
Yes. We'll do that.
Actually, yes. What Prabhuji telling in.
I do can opt it for it.
Huh?
I too can opt it for it.
Okay, Prabhu, two people. This
Yeah.
Mr. Krishnan
No,
Sundarji and Pramila ji.
I will send my name and address, and
Okay.
whatever pay is there, we will get it.
Guruji, I will have it in Tamil, Guruji.
Sorry, Tamil.
You can disclose the
Tamil
amount.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Sorry,
Prabhuji, Tamil, we have to check we have stock or not.
Okay, no problem.
நான் பார்த்து சொல்றேன்.
Okay, thank you. Sir.
Oh, then
You have in Telugu, Swamiji?